welcome back to the LEC final day of the regular season. And BDS are ready to take our order. Considering how much flipping they've been doing, I think this is quite a fitting end to their regular season. Are we just looking in the jukebox?
And then Pat's dancing,
yeah, I wonder what music it is.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Well,
dropping some moves.
Obviously up next, BDS versus
the Mad Lions move.
That's the Mad Lions move?
He's doing the little kitty paws.
Is that... Have you been out dancing with him and that's what you guys do?
I mean, me and Pat go way back.
That's your moves when you're on the floor.
Okay.
Just
yeah. You know,
that's what Danish dancing looks like.
Oh, I can see it. Yeah, the kitty paws. I see.
Yeah, you kind of see it though, don't you?
I get it.
Yeah,
no, that's
thank
cool.
you. Thank you.
You should try the shopping basket too. Honestly, you know, like driving. You know,
oh, we do that one as well. Yeah.
Try hosting, they said. It will be great, they said. Your analysts are really professional, they said.
Go on then, take it over.
That's a professional question, Mr. Host.
Okay. Well, we're here for BDS versus Mad Lions. Reminder for everyone at home that if BDS win, they lock a spot in the group stage. They've already secured at least a tiebreaker for the top 8. And considering the fact that 2.5 months ago, this was our final, both of these teams have taken a dramatic turn towards the worst.
Yeah, I think what's interesting is kind of when you look at what BDS were last split, they had a very clearly defined formula. We knew exactly how they wanted to play, and it was a winning strategy that even got them 2-0 up in the finals, right? But coming into this split, they said, we want to be able to change things up. We want to try a couple more things. And at the start, things didn't quite work out the way that they wanted it to. So they then returned to their style, and we thought, oh, good. Okay, they tried. They decided, you know what? No, we're overcomplicating things. We want to keep it simple. But now it feels like that formula that gave them so much success is nowhere near as effective as it was due to changes in the meta. But also teams just seem to be much better at reading them, along with a lot of surprising mistakes that I think that we've been seeing from BDS, where they were that consistent, incredibly good team fight team, just patient, methodical play. I don't think we see that same level of consistency.
But to me, it also just felt like BDS was this team that, one thing that made them really good in spring was that they're so willing to be proactive in kind of curious ways. Like Adam from top lane always finding the right window to do it. Now sometimes we just see him roam on a bad window. The Astralis match springs to mind when he was playing the Renekton. But
it's like
I also
the worst
think
window he ever could have been in that match.
Exactly. But I also think in general, they were so good in the early game to play around Sheo. They pretty much always had an early game plan that they wanted to execute that would give them some kind of an advantage to play through. But we haven't really seen that. And in turn, it kind of feels like Sheo is now getting a bit exposed, not necessarily because he's getting individually gapped, but he's not getting the same kind of resources that he used to do when they were so good in spring.
I think teams are really focusing on Sheo in the early game as well. A few times we've seen, Razorbeak invades, especially when he's playing the Sejuani,
sure.
And it can be a struggle for BDS to react to that. It feels like, as you say, they don't really know how to protect their jungler in the early game. Mad, on the other hand, a team that have always been known for incredible team fighting. Like, even when they won titles back in 2021, it was their team fighting we focused on. And yesterday, they seemed to really struggle with that, Vedi.
I mean, I think that the team is just struggling as a whole. I will call out Carzzy in particular, who continues to play incredibly well, but the team just looks incredibly disjointed. The synergy that we've seen from them in the past just doesn't seem to be there anymore. Like, while I think their team fighting was poor, and particularly what was most exposed in yesterday's match was that mid-jungle duo. Like, Markoon and Certus completely gapped Elyoya and Nisqy.
But I also think it's the decision-making, right? Let's take this instance right now. They completely overforce in the mid lane where they already know that there's a first move coming through from the top lane. They overextended, and they still stick around. They are still sticking around for this mid lane, and they're just waiting to get engaged on again. It's 2 members versus 4 trying to take down the turret. So it comes down to just really overselling yourself, overstaying your welcome, and taking the wrong fights. Even the Drake fights we saw initially was them starting it up and just taking a bad team fight.
I mean, I also think we saw Chasy being caught out individually a bunch of times. Again, like, I'll call out Carzzy. He seems to be the most consistent player, which I think to many would be a surprise. Of course, the man has already been a top tier AD carry, but in terms of his performance this split, he is the shining star that we've seen from Mad Lions. But what I think is this sentiment that's been really impressive, that like their initial wins were not that impressive. A lot of them were comebacks, and it feels like that now they're not able to find those comebacks anymore, and they went from being 4-0 to now finding themselves at 0-4.
Well, they're 4-4 in total. Obviously, they've gone 0-4 over the last 4 games, and I think that is a huge fall from grace. You have to remember as well, they went to MSI and they really struggled there. Like, it has been consistently since the end of spring where they were able to fight back from 8th place in the regular season to winning a title. since then, they've never really regained their form, Guldborg.
Yeah, but I feel like to send them off on some positive sentiment, the best we ever see Mad Lions is when mid, jungle, and support, they connect and find the right place when they're on playmakers. And it feels like they want to do it, but it's like they take every single shot they can. They don't care about the weather conditions or about if there's fog or anything, you know, they just take that rifle, they take a shot. If they connect with the mark, great. And sometimes we see that and it looks amazing. And sometimes we see them hit their foot and it looks less it looks less good, right?
Yeah, it's pretty painful to shoot yourself in the foot.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, for me, when I look at this matchup specifically, I very much think that bot lane will be where I need to see more improvement. I think that Mad Lions already can enable Carzzy, and I think getting him on something that maybe isn't Draven, even if it can be his lane dominant, gives you a few more options later on into the team fight. But also, Crownie just doesn't seem to be the same superstar AD carry that he was last split. And I think that synergy between Sheo investing towards bot, the way in which they really enabled him through that early, setting him up for some incredible team fights that we saw last split, is where I think we can see the best of what makes up these both teams right now.
Well, we'll see what Mad Lions can do today. Of course, for BDS, if they win this, they are locked into the group stage. Mad Lions are already there, and BDS have at least a tiebreaker to round out the day. We're going to hand over to Drakos and Ender, who are ready to take us into the action.
So ready.
So ready. Living for this moment. The Spring Finals rematch. I'm actually really excited. This game, last game was a roughie. The emotion around last game was a tough one to navigate. This game is pure hype. BDS playing, yes, they already have a tiebreaker lock, but playing to lock into groups, doing push-ups.
Holy!
What?
Sheo
What
is
is
just
that pace?
as jacked as he is cracked in game. Holy.
Yeah. Was a bit of a roughie though yesterday, so I'm hoping we get more of that push-up level performance today. And you heard it on the desk. Like, they weren't super hot on either of these teams. I think it is a downturn for both these guys, for both squads. However, I'm hoping we see more. And again, all you need to do is lock for the next stage. You have a week to practice, to get ready for a new patch, and you can show us a completely new side of yourself.
100%. I think the two patches in the future is obviously a really, really big deal. We can preview that down the road. But for these two teams, I also think like Mad Lions have been on a big losing streak, 4 in a row for them. So finishing on a high note before they move on to the next stage is exactly where they want to be.
Get that momentum.
It's game 6 between Team BDS and the Mad Lions. Mad Lions coming off a 3 in a row here, but BDS have a chance to tie things up in the finals.
Did you prepare that?
No.
Off the cuff. Zeri banned.
Look, you said
Zaya
energy.
banned.
I said let's bring some energy here.
I mean, we can ease into it though.
Okay,
Yumi
yeah,
banned.
you're right, you're right.
Berlin Yumi banned. Anyone? You're excited? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah,
I just want to figure out where you guys are at today. I know it's Monday. I know it's a weird time of the week for people.
I see a little BDS row up there. It's exciting.
I'm excited. I'm ready to hear the BDS fans cheer as we get in the game.
A lot of bot lane bans already.
Pressure on BDS, but you heard it from the desk. And also, we've seen it in this meta. Bot lane is everything. So other than the Darius ban,
Aphelios.
little shout out to Adam there. Feels like the last premier bot laner remaining could be the Aphelios, but instead, Shurima. Nuke on the Azir. Nuke's had a rough split. I think when he has a pick that he is comfortable on, like the Cassio and Orianna from last split, and I think Azir is kind of fitting into that general realm. He always looks like a much more confident player, so setting up for success makes sense. But Mad Lions, will they get the Rakan? Rakan what? Probably Aphelios.
I mean, they're probably looking at the Aphelios. I imagine Crownie is just looking to answer with a Jinx down on the bot side. Be a strong team fight for them later on.
Do they want to go for the Varus again?
That could be an option as well.
I will say that I very much like AP Varus. It's nerfed on the group stage patch, or adjusted on the group stage patch, more on hit damage, less proc damage on the W, but wouldn't mind seeing it again. I'm excited generally when Crownie is one of the guys who I think pushes the AD carry meta, at least tests it, sees what the boundaries are. For now though, Rakan Gragas, a ton of playmaking for Mad Lions.
It's interesting not going for the bot lane immediately. It makes me like wonder, okay, if Aphelios, because that's the thing you're leaving up now, what are you trying to take into it? Like, are you taking something like a Draven? Are you trying to like power through the bot side of the map?
Okay,
because otherwise you just give over a Azir, Aphelios, Maokai as the
These
first
are like
3.
3 of the best performing champions in our league right now. If Aphelios was a Zaya, you'd probably have like the 3 most reliable characters in their role.
That's just insane. The range, the zone control and team fights. But now...
The Gragas Prio, if it wasn't for the Azir, if that Azir was Cassie or Orianna, this would feel exactly like Spring Finals, Game 6.
Yeah, it's true.
The early Gragas Prio, something pretty unique to Mad Lions. Teams still like Gragas, but set them aside, just haven't been as excited. The removal of, or like the catalyst scaling taking a bit too long, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Roll not as popular.
I think they were like options too if they didn't immediately want to lock in the Vi. Like they've shown that the Gragas in jungle, in top lane, like you could leave it a little bit more flexible.
It's still the double flex. Like you could still pick mid lane. You might still draw some mid lane bans here depending on how much BDS want to invest in setting up Nuke for success. But the Kai'Sa going to be the option. Makes a lot of sense. I think Carzzy always a player who does much better when he has tools to kind of protect himself.
100%. And like I was sort of saying earlier, when you imagine you're taking the Rakan, you're dropping the Aphelios, you're probably taking something pretty aggressive down into that bot side. Unless again you want to match in the scaling department. We've seen of course like the Kog'Maw is coming out from G2, but I'm not sure Kog'Maw plus the Rakan if I'm fully on board with that. Like the entire team of Mad Lions wants to dive in, which is why I think the Kai'Sa ban makes so much sense because Kai'Sa would just fit perfectly with the overall idea of the Mad Lions composition. But the fact is right now Mad Lions playing heavy dive versus pretty strong disengage with the Maokai and the Azir is definitely going to make things challenging no matter what.
Heavy dive and not a lot of scaling damage output here. So we might just see full on early to mid game versus late game scaling, which to be as far as Mad Lions versus BDS goes is kind of what you would expect. Mad Lions notorious for their team fighting execution, but BDS showed us in spring when they are playing well, when they are playing together, they're pretty unbranchable in a lot of these objective fights.
I feel like Mad Lions have the Draven route or they have the Jinx route. It's like, okay, are we looking to like punish through bot lane or are we trying to have like a long range AD carry that can follow up with the dive and scale? The Ezreal route is not something I was expecting.
Look, this is kind of, I wasn't expecting it either, and now my concern is Ezreal, obviously a champion who can have insanely high ceilings in terms of what he can bring to a team, but also an incredibly low floor, so a lot of pressure on Carzzy to perform. He has done well on this champion in the past, but yeah. Ezreal Rakan.
Oh my god.
Tahm Kench doesn't get, they're gonna get prio anyway, even with a Tahm Kench.
And literally what BDS just did is said, oh, you locked in Ezreal? That's funny. Here's 3 giant meatballs that you're never going to be able to kill that can tank every single kill.
You cannot hit Azir or Aphelios as Carzzy. In this, with ult, I suppose you can. So now what do they round out the draft with? It feels like it has to be, okay, there's your damage. Kennen, what? I'm sorry, all right, let's, okay, look. BDS, everyone can see what their composition does. Other than the Renekton, who will help them, get to the early game and just have a strong landing phase as a blind pick. Scale. Team fight, eat the Aphelios, eat the Azir, keep everybody safe. On the upside for Mad Lions, it's like go for a wombo combo, but also you don't have a late game scaling hyper carry. You are a shotgun or a sniper. If you miss that shot when you come into a team fight, you don't do anything.
Yeah, I think in my opinion, in just the first 3 picks alone, like BDS already had like a really big advantage, and Mad Lions just sort of went all in with the Kennen. Now it's like, okay, you're gonna have prio up against the Renekton on the top side. There is definitely some gank threat with the Maokai. If you want to get up there on the top side with him over pushing without Elyoya covering for Chasy. But all things considered, this is gonna be a comp where Elyoya and Nisqy need to be very active around the map to find a lot of kills. I think that's one of the main things you're going to get with the Gragas. Very strong wave clear. Of course, the playmaking ability with the body slam, with the ultimate next to a Vi is very powerful. So Mad Lions need to be looking for early fights if they can around objectives and sort of utilizing some of the more like playmaking elements of the Rakan engage as well.
I mean, if you get ahead with a composition like this, with the amount of tools that they have, they can do a ton of work. When it comes to safe bets, absolutely Team BDS has a composition that feels much safer to bet on. That said, again, Mad Lions, when they are good, when they play a dominant early game, they can get so much done. Let's see if they can execute on the composition they have built. It's time. Mad Lions versus BDS. Yeah.
Out there dropping bars.
Yes. Shout out to you, fellow bearded man. You've been keeping the BDS energy up this entire weekend. When I was home after my games yesterday, I saw you. You're clutch.
I thought you were about to tell me you were at home just cheering BDS at the top of your lungs.
No.
The neighbors making complaints.
The most I get before, I'm gonna get called biased. I already put them S tier at the start of the season, which didn't go super hot, but you know, always a chance for redemption. So can't also cheer for them at home.
I feel like, the split's been a little bit more like B tier, I would say.
Well, it was started lower.
It started
going
lower.
up, and I think that, you know, if you can absolutely smash Mad Lions today, you're going back to the S side of the BDS.
That's the way to go. I will say it is a sad day to be playing Ezreal when you have to take cleanse because all of the BDS you see is point and click. Like, there's going to be a Renekton and a Maokai running on you. It's like, okay, they're going to W me? Okay, I guess I'm taking cleanse on Ezreal. Feels bad.
I love point and click CC. Your skill button, as I like to call it.
Yeah, it did feel like Carzzy did the honorable thing and was like, I'm going to play like really high skill champion in this Ezreal, and then BDS were like, no.
Well, and to be fair, Mad are kind of sitting pretty, so there's room for them to experiment. Obviously, you always want to try hard in a game that has stakes for the league, but they're a team that's already locked for season finals. It's all about the path to kind of improvement for them and just higher seeding as opposed to needing to sweat for season finals placement. Yeah,
the season finals for sure. I will say it's kind of funny to be sitting pretty just one game ahead of your opponent here on the final
and again,
day.
they're sitting pretty because of how spring went, and specifically the tail end of spring playoffs. They are not sitting pretty because of how this split went.
They're sitting pretty because of this matchup already.
Yeah.
Because of how that one went. So we'll see. I think I'll probably be looking at this game, especially for the first like 15, 20 minutes, more from the lens of Mad Lions, because there's certainly more pressure on them to sort of activate their priority. I don't think this is going to be a game where like Elyoya is level 3, level 4 ganking or anything like this, but especially once Elyoya ult, Gragas ult come online, that's where Mad Lions are going to need to sort of look around the map to activate, whether it's river fights or the Drake, maybe some bot side roams, these sorts of things.
Adam getting a nice bit of healing there from the Cold of Meek. Obviously, early laning phase we saw in the previous game can be quite difficult. Chasy going with the even greedier start, or the greedy start between Doran's Blade and Cole, knowing that he has the time to just farm up here. And you're right. I think totally fair to look at it from the perspective of the team that maybe has the less optimal late game win condition. That said, BDS, it's not like Sheo can't get something done in this early game. We've talked about it a lot. When Sheo is able to either free up the bot lane or play through mid, he can do a ton of work. This is a guy that really wasn't on our radar until the BDS run in spring, and we've talked about it yesterday in the cast, talked about it on the desk as well. He's a guy who has been not quite hitting those same highs yet this season.
Yeah, I think one of the things he did really well last split was he actually played to invade enemy jungle a lot. And off of that, he got information on where the enemy jungler was. So basically, whenever the enemy team was trying to set up a play, he was virtually always there, or even using that info to find pockets where he could dodge around, as Elyoya should end up getting this crab, but this does buy enough protection for Chasy to just continue pushing up on that top side of the map. And that was really the only window where I think Sheo had like an obvious gank to be able to look for. With Elyoya pathing bot to top, though, for crab, it nullifies that opportunity.
And this is one of the first games where we haven't seen junglers just path to bottom side ready for an early dive. And that is a product of an Ezreal and a Tahm Kench. You know, I mean,
and a product of the Kennen Renekton, too, I think.
Sure. I mean, super explosive lane matchup. Obviously,
he's actually finding a way, though.
If you can find a kill on Kennen or even burn his flash, the amount of kill pressure Adam has in this lane goes up through the roof. Sheo on the backside. Chasy now trying to E out to safety. That's the point-click CC, followed up by more point-click CC. Chasy slowed down. Flash in. First blood coming through for BDS. Clean gank from Sheo.
That is some gorgeous Sheo gameplay right there. Literally everything. Spots out Elyoya, sees him take the Scuttle Crabs, goes on this long route all the way around the Baron Pit to find the gank in the top side. Chasy just gets exploded. I think Adam used the Empower W for the extra stun duration. Also, because it is the Cole open, Chasy a little bit more vulnerable here. Yep, there you go. He's just perma locked down.
And again, this is all creative pathing to make this happen, coming in from the side of Sheo. You highlighted it already. Didn't get to see it quite as much in the replay, but we talk a lot about the Renekton Elises, the Renekton Nidalees of the world.
I can show you, though.
Sometimes you can just get more point-and-click CC, as it turns out, in the form of the Maokai.
Whoa! That's what he did for the gank. Crazy.
It's like a little shoe.
Looks like Italy, almost. The boot?
No, it doesn't.
It's a backwards.
You're lucky we don't have any Italian players right now.
All right,
in the league.
my bad.
It's a longer boot. There's a heel. Anyway. Americans talking about geography, not going to be good. The knockback there, Labrov coming in from behind, manages to land one, the slow one to Hylissang, trying to make it out to safety. Sheo again finding presence on the map. Elyoya still power farming up, has a massive CS lead, but because of the kill, Sheo still ahead in gold, trying to keep track of enemy jungler, and here comes Nisqy, a very angry bee.
Just give him the thumbs up. Basically, he's just here to sort of shadow and make sure Sheo can't look for the dive. He's not looking for an engage because this entire time, Elyoya's run into the topside jungle. So he takes away both these camps, having full knowledge of what Sheo is doing. Chasy did end up using his ultimate, and actually that puts him in a little bit of a tough spot.
Either. Definitely very tricky. Knock up there. Hylissang!
I mean, Nisqy is here.
Bit of an upsie. Labrov no level 6. They're trying to run down Crownie. Crownie flash out to safety. Exhaust coming in. Goes onto the Gragas. The knockback for there. They're surely going to take out Labrov. They don't have any CC, but they don't need it. Carzzy getting a kill back.
All part of the plan. 1-for-1 trade to the bot side of the map. I guess Crownie's just going to take the easy reset there. Curious.
Yeah, interesting situation overall. Obviously, Sheo showing a lot more presence in the early game. We really haven't seen Elyoya yet, which is surprising, but Elyoya finding that advantage in XP, getting closer to level 6. We talked about it already, 91% of the way there. One more camp will get him. And that's the point where we're going to start to see this Vi look to take over.
This is what Sheo always did so well, though, just covering when his laners need to. Actually, both supports running towards this top side to try and fight over the Scuttle Crab respawn.
Oh, crab battle.
Yeah, but the problem is, without him getting that full walkout in the top lane, there's nothing really Mad Lions can do. And all of this is actually a symptom because Chasy used his ultimate to get the really fast prio, so Elyoya could go for the initial invade. That allowed Madam to sort of turn the tide in the top lane, be able to threaten the walk up with the Dominus available. Chasy can't really fight back.
Wait a second.
What?
That's a noon quiver on the Kennen.
Oh, are we getting a little static shiv?
Lightning synergy?
That's kind of wicked, I'll be honest.
I mean, normally you have to E through the wave to clear it, right?
Yeah.
So
Kennen's genuine weakness is that in order to wave clear, you have to put yourself right inside the wave and right into, you know, a threatening melee champion. So
yeah,
actually,
again, it's not unheard of. I assumed everyone was just going to be going alternator based on what we saw from Odo in the previous game.
I do think, you know, alternator going for like the team fight build would make a lot more sense for Mad Lions if they were definitely favored in the team fights. I think that with this, Chasy can get a little bit faster prio on a lane, maybe use that to threaten to collapse in with the rest of the team, you know, use that ultimate to force a fight around a numbers advantage. I actually I'm a bit of a fan.
Oh, scoop back, Sheo in the area. Immediate CC follow-up. Nisqy's going to be able to navigate his way out of this one. Ulti coming. Cask knockback with a flash forward from Nuke. Still laying down some damage. Soldiers with a follow-up there. Arcane Smash coming in. Should just be able to run him down. Adam on the way. Can body slam over the wall, but there's a Crocodile waiting for him. Immediate stun, follow-up. Adam going to grab the kill on the bottom side. Mad Lion's going to aggressive onto Labrov. Crownie, though, perfect guns for a fight. Elyoya has to be careful about overextending here. Still just walking into the tower, repeatedly getting autoed and getting taken out. Stacking chakrams like it's nobody business. BDS getting work done across the map.
Yeah, I mean, that's just twice now that Crownie and Labrov have traded even in a 2-on-3. Fantastic stuff for them. Yeah, they're going to end up losing a lot of turret plates, a lot of minions off of this for sure. But Herald will be taken on the top side of the map to try and equalize that just a little bit. It's actually impressive. Gold, well, just went up a couple hundred off the turret plate, but virtually dead even between Crownie and Carzzy because of them just outplaying a little bit in these 2-on-3s.
Yeah, and well, the only thing keeping the gold within touching distance right now, you know, Elyoya power farming in the jungle, holding on to that CS advantage. A similar story. Chasy obviously going to get an extra gold injection from the Cole, but when we look back at this play specifically, starts positive for Mad Lions.
Oh, he just latches on.
Yeah.
Went fishing there, came up with a catfish, and
here's what's important though. Crownie's gonna push his Q button, and he's gonna drop that tower.
Look
it's
at that turret.
1, 2, okay, 3. Yeah, okay. If you ever get more than 2 autos off of an Aphelios white-green combo, you're like laughing to the bank. It's a hilarious amount of damage. That's the combination that allows you to kill Baron in like 15 seconds.
Yep.
So Elyoya.
So you're telling me break the turret?
I mean, it's tricky, because if you auto the tower, you're not autoing the enemy champion.
Yep.
So
and in that situation, like, if Carzzy, you know, was a part of the fight, which he really wasn't, he had the ultimate to come in, but if he was a little bit closer, then maybe he could have been able to break it. But of course, he's on the wave, so it's just not really an option for them. Elyoya's looking mid with the ulti.
Hylissang ready to keep this one going. The pull back is there. The Rakan now looking to come in. The pushback coming through. The lockup there. They knock him back with the wall. Nuke still standing. Elyoya going in. He can't get anything done. Mad Lions. They're throwing punch after punch at BDS, but BDS are unfazed. It's like those nightmares you have where you're throwing punches and they don't do anything. They all feel terrible. We've all had them. That's the situation Mad Lions are in.
Just punching the air here. I mean, Elyoya's looking really deep for these plays. I do respect a bit. It's the fact that Sheo is here with the ultimate so quickly, rooting them up. There's no follow-up off of that cask with the wall in their way as well. They just can't quite reach onto it. I think Elyoya was one more passive proc away from getting the shield back. That might have been a difference, but no, it just wasn't going to happen at the end of the day.
And for BDS, they're getting everything that they want because they're getting time to scale. Sheo has been everywhere. He made aggressive plays on the top side. He's made counter ganks every time that it's been needed. You know, it's 5 kills. He only has 3 out of 5 for kill participation, 60%, but still, I think huge impact from him thus far. And Mad Lions forcing.
Yeah, and it's going to keep happening. No more shock on this, because Mad Lions, the way they need to play is off of cooldowns and off of lane prio, looking to force that. So stuff like dives there, now finding fights inside the enemy junglers where it's going to be the most favorable for them. But as long as Sheo, his main job is to look for the vulnerable lanes and make sure he's there to stop it from happening.
Hylissang pushing for the knock-up. Sheo not going to opt to go for the W, doesn't want to get pulled under tower, but they have a Herald here, so they can move in for pressure. Ezreal does a bit of damage, but the Herald will still be able to charge. Elyoya shadowing. He's in the area. Of course, Sapling spot him out, though, so they should have this information. Crownie, good guns for an extended fight, but just going to get the Herald and walk away. And BDS, 1K gold in the lead, 5 kills to 2. This is a very solid early game.
Yeah, BDS now with bot lane prio can sort of walk up, give some protection over towards Nuke. Nice trade from Chasy, who has finished the static ship, by the way.
Ulti now coming out. Adam, big sustained Conqueror proc. Chasy just trying to burn him down. Does he need one more static ship? Oh, the flash!
Coward.
Ran away on that one. That's going to feel bad, because in a second here,
yeah,
Adam's just going to walk up, double dash to the wave, flash W, and then one-shot him.
I think Chasy misread the cooldown on Adam there. I think he still had a couple of seconds, and it was favoring him.
If he Q flashes on you, I don't think you can reaction flash. He's like anticipation
No, he's going to get you for sure.
So tricky situation as Crownie continues to do whatever he wants on the bottom side of the map. Labrov now level 7 means that Crownie will probably never die.
Yeah, but I mean, what a position BDS are in with this bot lane prio. Like, they're the ones to be able to just free take this Drake, which isn't that hard when you're first on the objective and you have a Maokai to put those down.
Hey, look at that. He dashes the wave, flash, and one-shot the Kennen. Who could have seen it coming?
Wait, you saw it coming?
Yes!
Hold on.
Chasy should not have stepped that far up. That was a tricky position.
And that means plates. I mean, there's 45 seconds left on plates. Adam's going to be able to take those. Matt's still looking.
Caught out. The knock up, the follow-up. Hylissang now looking to come in, but Nuke still gets out! That was so close. Mad Lions, they're getting nothing. This has to be infuriating. If they weren't already locked groups, if this was a deciding match, this would mentally break teams. But BDS, again, outplaying so consistently across the board. Nuke keeps surviving. Nisqy's going to get a plate back. Maybe Carzzy can cancel a recall. They get a small tempo advantage. He's going to cancel Crownie. That's the start of something, but...
How far is Hylissang willing to run to cancel this is the next question.
Certainly. I mean, again, 2K at 14 minutes is not the biggest gold lead. It's significant, but it's not the biggest. And right now...
pink ward duty now.
Right now, based on the way this game is playing out, I just have more faith in BDS. Even if we take away the compositions, Mad Lions have been forcing so hard and just walking away empty-handed so consistently.
Yep. I will say, silent hero throughout has been Sheo. Whether it was finding that gank on the top side to start things going well for Adam, being there with the ultimate to cancel out that turret dive in the mid lane. Everything Mad Lions have tried just hasn't quite gone right. I think even in the situation where Elyoya was jumping on Nuke, if the timing was slightly different and his ult was able to follow Nuke's E, completely different story. Then you're guaranteeing the Rakan follow through as well, but the Nuke ate all the CC and then use the disengage tools.
The timing just hasn't quite been perfect, and it is a tough thing to coordinate.
It's been it's like 0.1, 0.2 seconds off, right?
0.3 seconds, yeah, but you know, it's a situation where that's the only thing that you need. He doesn't have Merc Treads either. Now, most of the CC isn't affected by Merc Treads. The knock-up at least will knock backs, but the fact that he's still managing to get out in these situations is impressive from Nuke.
Yeah. This is the way Mad Lions have drafted themselves, though. A lot of individual agency, but everything has to be clicking. The coordination has to exactly be there. So now my eyes are going to continue looking around the map because Mad Lions aren't going to be contesting this Herald. They've now switched up the lane, so they have the duo in mid to try and force something on the bot side, perhaps. Hylissang was moving down there, but diving at him is not going to be the easiest thing in the world. The Renekton with the Dominus is just so powerful on a weak side of a map.
Yeah. Chasy, still no flash either. Going to be a bit tricky. Obviously, we'll get it back for Adam, though, so we'll help keep things close. Has the alternate as well. We'll see. If I assume you'd still go Night Harvester at this point, but maybe he does want to go for Proto Belt. We'll have to wait and see. Chasy doing what he can on the side lane. Putting that attack speed to good use, though. I will say, building attack speed on Kennen always feels good.
Because you already get the attack speed coming out of your E, which is really high, and then on top of that, a little bit of AD, attack speed, everything. Here we go.
Okay, the follow-up.
I wouldn't recommend pressing R Elyoya.
It's a bit of a tricky one. Crownie strong, has the Gale Force. Cole fully stacked, sitting nice and comfy.
What Mad Lions do have, though, is with giving up the Herald, they traded that for some camp, some vision in the bot side jungle, and they're hoping to be able to convert that, like a really deep ward to the left of the red buff you can see. Trying to come in, cancel some resets, but Elyoya's actually gone back to farm his camps, and means there's no real follow-up on Hylissang. Because basically, in order to make a play happen, you need Vi there, and then you need at least one other person behind it, and then the rest can kind of roam over. So unless you see Elyoya next to Nisqy or Elyoya next to Hylissang, there's not too much threat from Mad Lions other than walking in, putting down vision, buying a little bit of protection while they get the push off in the Kennen lane.
Yeah, and the vision has not been completely cleared out yet. As I say that, the ward fades away, so...
Oh, they are TPing in.
TP coming through.
Was it worth it?
Gets the tower, is going to give his life, is going to try to take Chasy out with him, but luckily Elyoya is there to find the shutdown. Now the aggressive play on the mid lane. White gun perfect for shredding through these towers. That's the charge. Berlin comes alive for Shelly or Sheila, whoever just charged that tower.
I think that was Shelly. It's always Shelly in my opinion. But
Okay.
top lane turret going to be falling too, so trades all across the board.
So the pace of the game just getting sped up by both sides as they just trade towers, freeing up so much more space on the map to play in. BDS have been diligent thus far and not really giving a lot away. Adam kind of knew what he was risking there on the bottom side. We'll see if they can keep that going as the map becomes more wide open. Crownie definitely getting stronger, closer and closer to that Kraken.
Crownie is going to start popping front lines.
Yeah.
For sure. Mad Lions already not the tankiest bunch. They're definitely going for like the full burst here with the Vi Kennen.
Oh.
They can look for a lot of plays, especially around this mid lane turret. It's really hard for BDS to have info on both sides of mid lane, which allows Mad Lions to always be looking in for the pockets.
Yeah. Reminder. Oh, never mind. Hold that dot. Full focus on taking Sheo out of the equation, but they don't get anything done.
Yeah, let me introduce you to a nice friend called Aftershock. Sheo gonna take 0 damage versus that. It's not a first strike Maokai.
They get his ult though.
Oh, here's Adam. He just went on the Giga Blast Cone.
Second Chemtech Rift in a row. 29.
Chasy has a really deep ward he can try to TP2 in the jungle though, so if Mad Lions can pull BDS down into the river a little bit, there's options for big flanks from him. And he just finished the Proto Belt, so it is a team fight second item for him.
Can they find the angle? Mad Lions taking their time here. It's not going to be a quick Drake once they start it.
Adam now looking for a flank on the bot side to try brush, but there is a ward there that will end up spotting him.
Ooh,
now he's
poke,
seen.
though. Crownie going to try to heal up as much as he can off the fleet before the fight comes.
The way
to.
Mad Lions need to play this fight is they need to find the
TP.
flanker and engage on them or pinch in with this teleport. I think BDS are just going to disengage though. There's no real need for them to overfight this. They already got the first 2 Drakes of the game. They have the scaling advantage. So yeah, give it up, take mid prio, trade that for full control over the top side of the jungle.
And overall, Mad Lions, a solid angle for a play. BDS not going to fall into the trap they so carefully laid, however, so won't give much up. Happy to walk away without a dragon to keep their members standing. A lot of potential shutdown gold if they can take Crownie out.
And basically BDS have guaranteed like, oh, it's going to be pretty chill for the next 5 minutes. That's both TPs gone from the solo laners. Mad BDS have their own, so they can try to match any aggression, sort of fight Mad Lions as they overcommit themselves into different areas. So much because of the early outplays of the 2v3s from Crownie and Labrov and the times Sheo went down to the bot side. Because they farmed the first 2 Drakes, they just built themselves this huge buffer in the game where they don't really have to overforce anything and are able to calmly continue scaling forward. That's 2 items on Crownie. He's going to be working on a 3rd soon and already up 1,000 gold. That lead is just slowly but surely getting bigger over Crownie, or over Carzzy.
And you talk about Aftershock. Nuke's built himself a fake, slightly worse Aftershock in the form of Crown, which is going to make things a lot harder. Crownie eaten up, and yeah, that's the other piece of the puzzle that hasn't been relevant yet, but is very relevant, is there's a Tahm Kench.
Yeah, you know, it can be a 2-for-1 deal with that Gragas ult, slightly off
True.
that time. So you have to be a little bit cautious, but yeah, the disengage options are just obscene. Whether it's that or the Sheo ultimate coming out a little bit earlier to stop you chasing you down. The Azir wall, it is all there. So Mad Lions are gonna, every 60 seconds probably, be looking to do something like that. And if they can catch BDS slightly off guard, without vision on Mad Lions, something like this, maybe they can find some picks, but for Mad Lions, this can be a very quick turnaround. If they can find a pick, convert that into an objective, they're constantly looking for angles.
Rav stepping up. Nuke always can just threaten the shuffle.
It's so like you couldn't ask for a better comp for like clearing vision too from BDS. They can just walk in completely without fear. You know, you have the Maokai saplings to scout first, then you have a Maokai with Aftershock, Tahm Kench falling behind it. Like, it is really hard to make a mistake with this type of draft.
And this is the like, I mean, I feel like this is so much of what BDS did again in spring, and it's not that they had quite this ironclad of a draft, as Recall will not get stopped there. But so many of the same tools that made them strong in spring, these scaling options, these team fighting powerhouse champions.
And they would play these scaling team fighting comps and then still get advantages in the early game. Get the Drakes in the early game. Well, what have they done again? It's Sheo with the ganks, finding some kills on the top side. This game they didn't even need Adam to like run down to guarantee the Dragons, which was a staple of theirs through the spring split. This time Adam was solo killing Chasy on the top side, while BDS were comfortably taking the Drake 4 versus 4.
Yeah. And I think, you know, progression, it feels like for BDS. Of course, Mad Lions do look, you know, a little out of sorts in these overforces, but BDS punishing very well. This is a Thanos-looking chroma for Adam, I just realized. Very, very purple crocodile.
Is it the space croc?
It's very, definitely, I mean, I feel like it has to be. Definitely not an Earth crocodile when it's purple.
No, definitely not.
I won't, you know, I can't quantify exactly where it comes from.
It also doesn't come from Earth. It comes from Runeterra.
Okay, all right.
I don't know if you watched Arcane, but that's where Arcane is set.
Okay, all right. Mr. Pedantic.
No, that's Medic. I wouldn't want to step on his toes there.
Yeah, that's fair.
His foot's hurt enough as it is. Hurt his foot rock climbing.
Heard that's the context there, as Carzzy walks up and takes a gajillion damage. Does get a bit of poke back onto the tower as Mad Lions just running up and down the map, trying to get some vision down, fishing for any kind of pocket they can find.
Yeah, the thing is, it's not even about getting vision down from Mad Lions anymore. It's about clearing vision. VDS have just constantly been cycling it through. It would be so boring / frustrating to play as Mad Lions right now. You keep trying all these cool things, and then BDS are just walking away whenever you attempt to do so. Not giving any opportunities left over. Now finally that, you know, Drake is a minute away from spawning, BDS are playing for bot side, right? Adam going on a little walkabout in that jungle. They can put down saplings, get mid push, and then some wards too.
Chasy keeping the pressure up on the side lane, building some magic penetration. Maybe he can get enough work done. Sheo, nice little dodge there with
Maokai mechanics?
It's important. That's the one thing you can do, is that thing.
That's it. That's
like
literally
cue
the
people
only thing.
back into your ult as the little football's running out. Important to note, there is an Anathema's Chains on Sheo. It is on Carzzy at this stage of the game, so he can just build MR, basically. Unless he's really worried about Elyoya's damage output, but I can't imagine he is at this stage of the game.
Now, Mad Lions have been able to roam Chasy down because the Aztec Shiv was solo top lane, gets the push out. Now they have numbers. Adam's TPing in, though. Doesn't want to give any time for Mad Lions to take control in the river.
TPing in.
Oh, Nuke, rather, yeah.
Is Adam collapsing as well? Okay, the fight for mid-prio. Giving away one Drake, fine. Do they want to give away a second? No, absolutely not.
How do Mad Lions find a flank? Looking at Hylissang maybe to find an angle. Chasy too.
Got to keep track of these cues from Carzzy too. He needs to get some poke down before the fight starts. Arcane Shift used. Chasy fishing for a flank.
Adam too on the top side, looping around. You can see Hilly trying to spot him out, and I believe he did see him just around the corner of the wall.
Ezreal ult. Adam isolated by himself, gonna dash through the blue buff and back over the wall, so that's one flank mitigated. The vision stopping Chasy from getting too aggressive on his flank. Chasy spotted, but they're still grouped up. Flash available for Chasy as well. Dragon 7k health. It is going to reset. Chasy still waiting on that angle. Adam stepping forward, going in under the Nisqy. Chasy needs to find a way into the backline. BDS playing this nice and slow. Nuke and Crownie untouched for now, but they're not getting a lot of damage down. Knockback from Nisqy. Fall from Elyoya does not connect. Crownie not going to connect on the all. Clutch flash there to make sure it could not find a target. 4k. Dragon getting lower. It's a tense exchange, but neither side able to find an angle into the fight. BDS will walk away with the third Drake of the game.
BDS just a wall right there. Mad Lions couldn't get through him. Chasy tried to jump into the pit, but he just can't accomplish anything. His ultimate hit one player, I think, was completely spotted out on the flank. And now BDS have an opportunity to even start Baron if they wanted to. Threaten that before Mad Lions could get the reset timers off. Two players have been able to reset from Mad those solo lanes. And yeah, BDS are going to start hitting. They have the TP from Adam to get back into the fight in mid, and double teleports from Mad.
They're going to try to collapse on the TP in mid lane and just burn Adam out of the fight, but Adam dashes away quickly. Not forced to use flash in that exchange.
Still have no ults.
Pinned into the pit. Nisqy 9 seconds on the ultimate. Maybe he can get something done here. Elyoya can't get into the pit. 3k. It was a rough early game, but it still could turn the whole game around. And burst is going to work. Elyoya locked up. Big damage coming through. Jungler down. Baron secured for BDS. Mad Lions once again left empty-handed in the exchange. Carzzy looking to poke. Adam stepping forward, locking up Chasy. Now the roots coming through, looking to follow up. Chasy forced to sidestep and gets knocked down in return. Hylissang leaping out of safety as Carzzy gets the arcades up in time.
Oh, nuke,
and now
baby.
the pushback coming through. BDS is absolutely stomping Mad Lions.
BDS just tearing Matt apart. Really composed around the objectives. Adam's still looking for a little bit, cancels the reset from Hilly, and now Hilly is absolutely
lower,
cooked.
flashing from Sheo, the knockback. Carzzy trying to get out safety.
Nuke's everywhere.
Nuke on the side. The ulti won't even finish. Nuke now on a rampage.
Nuke just kept trying to run top lane to farm minions, and then enemy champions ran into him with 200 health.
26 minutes, I think this is game.
I mean, even if it doesn't end on this push, it is over. That's 2 inhibs at minimum. Nisqy's gonna come back up with the ultimate. Elyoya, Chasy have theirs as well, so I don't think the end is here, but it is only a matter of time, that's for sure.
One inhibitor down, a second inhibitor to follow. The only thing they need to worry about are these ultimate cooldowns on the side of Mad Lions. BDS, with a spot of groups on the line, will take their time here. Do not want to overforce. Wow.
I mean, look, the thing is, okay, we're actually going to the Baron. It's just unfortunate. Yep, not being quite enough time. 1181 on the smite. That's a real nice smite coming through from Sheo, but they're able to find the kill very, very easily. I think the dragon fight is really where things were problematic for Mad, and they used all their ultimates just trying to actually disengage the fight, but Adam just playing inside the fog of war, jumps out there, able to find all the kills they need.
Meanwhile, on the picture-in-picture, you already saw this fight, so you kind of know what happens. This one you haven't seen.
Oh no.
Chasy running. Adam has a hull breaker, doesn't even need it. He just eats him. This is done. This is over. BDS looking to tie up Mad Lions, looking to secure their spot in the top 8. Would mean Koi and Astralis to decide the final position.
And this is the game every BDS fan wants to see coming into the end of the split.
Everything being burned onto Adam. Adam's still standing. They cannot kill the purple crocodile. They don't have any damage. I'm scratching my head. If I'm honest, Ender, I am...
Mad Lions missed the window, okay? At this point, it's gone. And you saw them with all their attempts around mid lane. Look, this was obviously a very sharp composition. They did not have a lot of wiggle room, I think, when it came to the actual execution of it.
Yeah.
And you got to give credit to BDS in the draft, too, I think, for just seeing exactly what was coming in. They got all the 3 powers picks immediately coming on through, and now they can just run into Mad Lions' face.
Adam, Root, Death, following up, big damage, pushback, Carzzy. Buffers out of that one. Crownie killing everyone. BDS victory lap here. Mad Lions shepherded back into their own base. Put into the pen. They're in the zoo, and BDS are most certainly the zookeepers here as Mad Lions out of room to maneuver. There's no Savannah left. BDS locking themselves into the top 8, taking their time, enjoying the moment, savoring it after a difficult best-of-1 stage. They will secure top 8 with an insane win over the Mad Lions. And Nuke, you can see there, sigh of relief, position locked, no tiebreakers, no nonsense, you're in.
Does that make BDS the hyenas?
No, they're the zookeepers.
I was going Lion King, but, you know.
Sure.
I think that's what they are. Wildebeests? I don't know.
Wildebeest?
They're one of those things.
You're
big baddies.
You're loose with it.
I'm loose with the references today, okay? But you knew it was tight. BDS gameplay. That was very, very nice.
Yeah.
I think they came out of the first phase of draft and were like, okay, cool. We just get literally everything you could possibly ask for on the patch, just about.
Maokai, Aphelios, Azir.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Sure.
You're going to play full dive into that? Okay,
okay, all right.
We welcome the opportunity. Please jump into us. That's exactly where we want to live. But from there, BDS, really nice player on the bot side. I think Crownie and Labrov had a couple of sweet outplays that led to really great stacking.
Good initial gank for Sheo on the top side to set Adam up so that that lane could not just snowball independently. Kiss is coming in. From family, I assume. Congratulations. You never know. Different expressions of fandom.
This is true. This is true. BDS very comfortably going to be advancing. And hey, taking down the arch nemesis in Mad Lions from the spring finals.
Game 6 going their way.
It's 3-3 now. Who will win?
Find out. Maybe they face each other in the best of 3s. That'd be an excellent start. Kick off with a banger like this on paper. Again, in this game, Mad Lions didn't do a lot.
No.
set themselves up, as you talked about, the limited window, a sharp composition, limited strengths, but very clear strengths. Weren't able to work with them. But on the side of BDS, we need to know who you felt was the most impactful. You can vote for your player of the game at LEC on Twitter. If you're not rate limited, Adam, Sheo, or Nuke, please use one of your 600. For now, though, we're going to send it over to Trouble, who's standing by with a victorious Sheo.
Thank you very much, Drakos. Sheo, congratulations on the winner. Congratulations on locking in groups. How does it feel after such a roller coaster of regular split?
It feels really cool. I think our start of the split was not the best. So at the end, we made to best of 3. It's not the final goals, right? So we still need to go further, I think.
Sheo, there has been quite a bit of criticism in your team's losses directed over towards you. How do you deal with situations like this?
I mean, I know that I played less worse than the spring split, right? So I can't really tell why, but I think I'm trying my best to improve and do better every game. And I think this game I played well, for example, so I'm just happy to play good again.
Do you think it has anything to do with the meta?
No, I don't think it has nothing about the game, I think. It's more exterior things.
Okay, well, I hope that goes better for you, Sheo, because
you
did play amazing in this particular game. Now, how do you feel about your team advancing into the best ofs? Do you guys think you have better chances when it's a series and not just the best of one?
Yeah, I think we are a better team in best of 3 and best of 5 because I think we can play a lot of styles. So I think it will be good for us, and if you lose one game, it's not over. So I think we will do great again, like in spring.
Okay, and talking about spring, that's where I wanted to go. You guys on that best of versus Mad, I guess you got your revenge this time around. What is something that you will take from these finals to apply now going into the best of series?
I think in the final we lacked of experience a bit, and now that we did a final all together, we know how people react, etc. And I think we'll just adapt if we go again in the final and we do better, I suppose.
Well, can't wait to see that. And when it comes to meta, of course, jungle has been pretty much the same, I guess, the entire year. Do you expect any changes with the new patches coming up?
I don't think there will be any changes. Maybe some listen for striker, but nothing special I think will change.
Oh, you said listen. Elyoya played Rexa. Any thoughts on that?
But Rexa is not a champion, I think.
Oh, is it? Okay, it's just for solo queue, I guess. All right, so yeah, thank you very much. And congratulations on locking groups. We're going on to a very quick break, and when we're back, it's Koi versus Astralis. Stay tuned.
Thank you.
Chasy now trying to E out safety. That's the point click CC, followed up by more point click CC. Chasy slowed down. Flash in, first blood. Hylissang ready to keep this one going. The pull back is there. The Rakan now looking to come in. The pushback coming through. The lockup there. They knock him back with the wall. Nuke still standing. Elyoya going in. He can't get anything done. Objective, and you have a Maokai to put those down. Hey, look at that. He dashes away. Flash and one shot the Kennen. Who could have seen it coming?
1K8, try to burst. Now.
I burst now?
Vai. I volt, don't worry. Yeah, good job.
Together.